From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Heyo.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open this cold Mayday beer and let's get after it. As always, Pucks Out is powered by Mayday Brewery, the official beer of Pucks Out Podcast. Coming up soon, we will happy to announce that we will be once again returning to Mayday Brewery to host Bingo Night. So
Don't call it a comeback. Don't call it a comeback. Yeah. We've been here for years, all right?
Yeah. So stay tuned. We will get you that info when we know. We are in the planning period. So, yeah, that's exciting. But check them out every Tuesday for Singo and Thursday for Bingo. Today, we are covering a bunch of news from inside and out of the NHL. We are talking the Pucks Out Awards. We got Games of the Week. And we have a returning guest, James Dolan, in the Joke of the Week.
He's back, baby.
Yeah. So, how are you this week, bud?
Good, man. Good New Year's. Had a good time over at your mom's house. We had us delicious crab cakes and lots of drinks and wine, and played a fun game that got me heated, as games generally will, when it comes to me and playing them. So, but good, some good college football playoff games, an interesting end to fantasy weekend. We'll discuss that a little bit, but yeah, man, doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. Happy for another week. Fantasy football championships. We've got, now I can fully focus on fantasy hockey. It's just good. We're hopefully within the next 2 weeks we can get back to the fantasy goons. We get scheduled Dave. Our dude got a promotion at his day job, so he's being kept a little bit busy right now. But yeah, just happy to be here, ready to talk some sports. Excited for the new year. Let's not waste any time. Don't forget to check us out on Twitch, where we will be doing a bunch of cool stuff. We will be getting that Seattle game rocking soon. Quick fit check. Last week we didn't have video, but I got the new my new Washington Commanders hat.
Nice.
It was a disappointing season towards the end, but I'm going to talk a little bit about that and what's snapping my stick. What about you, dude?
Rocking the, this is not an endorsement of fanhood. This is my endorsement for, dope old school logos. But I got, I believe it's Patriot Pat, is the guy here. So, got this little bad boy for Christmas, just got the I'm feeling beachy. I know it's not beachy outside. It's not as cold as it was. So it's basically like a beach compared to what we had for a little bit. So I got the nice, Vineyard Vines beach, beach wear attire. I don't know if this is quite a Hawaiian shirt, because there's no flowers. So, well, whatever you call it.
I would say it's akin to a Hawaiian.
It's a style.
It's a Hawaiian.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, if you said wear Hawaiian, we're all wearing Hawaiians, and I wore this, I wouldn't be like out completely, but it would be like I was that odd cousin. We're gonna invite him. He's our cousin, but you feel me.
Yeah. Let's jump into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
All right. Yesterday, as of the day of recording, Bruins beat the Penguins in the Winter Classic. Good little game. The best team in the NHL doing what the best team does, winning games. Didn't get to see it.
Losing you money though.
On the phone.
Losing you money though.
Yeah.
Couldn't pull out the 2-goal win.
Yeah. So, but I kept up with my phone. Disappointed that the puck line didn't hit, but always happy to see the Pens lose. it looked dope though. The pictures I saw from Fenway Park looked absolutely amazing. The Bruins walk off. They wore the old school Red Sox jersey, like the old timey ones from like the 30s or whatever. So that was pretty dope. And then you got this stat right before we started recording. The Sabres close to tying their goal totals from the tank years in less than half a season. 142 goals in 36 games this year, 150 goals in 2013, 2014, 153 in 2014-15. Absolutely insane.
The way the headline was initially written was it made it seem like they were about to eclipse this both of those totals combined. Yeah. And I was like, what? And I mean, it's still pretty a very impressive stat. I mean, either way. So I think that it would be probably fair to say that this is going to be not a problem for them to break those two goals, those two numbers, right? I feel like they got it. They probably are going to be able to pull that out.
Yeah. Not much going on in the case of the news in the NHL. We're at that kind of that point in the season where the news cycle is slowing down. But yeah, we'll keep you all updated. So let's hop over into Outside the Boards.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
Okay. Before we get started, we want to make sure we send our thoughts and hopes to Dahmer Hamlin and all his family. The absolutely brutal situation that happened in Monday night's game. We're not going to discuss, we don't have any info more than anybody else as far as rescheduling of the game. That's not important. But yeah, I mean, this is, I think, I was talking to Meg when it happened. I think that this is going to change the landscape of the sport because, we've known about the side effects of CTE for years now, but I think that when CTE happens, people see it with someone who's no longer playing the game. It happens slowly over time. This is an immediate and sudden consequence of the physicality of the game, and everyone saw it. Everyone can see that could have been me. That could have been someone I love playing the sport, and so I think this is going to have ripples throughout the NFL, and it rightfully so. I think that they have been lax on some safety measures a little bit, especially when it comes to. Again, I'm not a professional. I don't know what's going on. I'm not saying that. Obviously, I'm not flag football, but something's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I don't know that it's going to send that much of a. I mean, this was a by the book tackle, nothing outlandish. It wasn't, a crazy occurrence. We see much worse than that. I
wasn't talking about a rule change. I was talking more in the aspect of equipment changes.
Yeah, maybe, but it depends on what's available, what's going to be safe. And it's still going to be able to have football. I think that you'll probably see more of an impact across the youth football arena is probably where I would say that you would start to get a more of a sense of, okay, let's not do that. But it's such an absolutely awful thing. And so, because we kind of talked about it before the show, we are a sports podcast. We will talk about sports and stuff, but we kind of felt discussing the implications of fantasy football and fantasy championships without any resolution of, is the game going to get played? What's going to happen? What's happening in the leagues? We will probably just do that next week, right? We got a more clear picture. We got a kind of a more clear picture of what's going on with this young man. We've had positive information has come out. I mean, nothing over the top or anything, but definitely positive information. It's not as far as recording. We haven't had any news of it going downhill, which is obviously a good thing. I think I do want to, I'm not here to don't hear what I'm not saying. It seems like I've been very much on the side of the NFL And I agree with what you're saying. Their safety precautions and things that they do wrong are wrong a lot of the time. The conflicting reports of they're gonna have them warm up and play or not play is, I'm not going to speak to that, but there were folks that were mad that the game was not called immediately. Well, I did want to throw this out there and see your thoughts on it. If you cancel that game immediately, what happens in that stadium, Bobby? Mass exodus, right? Everybody's wanting to get out. The game's over. I'm not, and not anybody's fault, but the game's over. I'm leaving. Well, what is that going to hinder? Probably the logistics of getting your emergency vehicles in and out of the stadium and being able to just go. So, I mean, even if the decision was hey, we're going to call this game. I mean, the fact that they had them, they at very least until the ambulance is clear and this man has made it to the hospital. That's something we don't want to have to deal with on top of this is somebody getting hit by an ambulance or the ambulance having to drive extremely slow, where this is a very much time is of the essence. This isn't he tore his ACL. And if we get there, 15 minutes later, he's still got a torn ACL. I mean, this is a different type of ball game. Excuse my pun. So I did want to kind of point that out to a few folks that said, hey, I'm not sitting here saying that they weren't planning on playing the rest of that football game, but from a logistics standpoint, that seems like the right call to hold it off for a little bit to allow that traffic to be able to die down. So just an outside thought of that.
Yeah, I think that there are two parties here. There's the unreasonable NFL party that wanted them to give them 5 minutes warm up, get back on the field. Unreasonable, not inappropriate. But then to say that they should have immediately canceled the game right then and there. I mean, this is a situation. This was a situation that was happening in real time. All parties involved needed a minute to just figure out, okay, what are we doing here? How bad is this? Because there's a line of communication. Fans were watching this live. We saw the AED thing come out. We saw CPR happening. You have trainers talking to officials. You've got the league office not knowing what's happening in real time, more than likely, waiting to get a call from somebody. I mean, straight up canceling a game right away. I mean, you don't want to be the guy who canceled the game too early, but you also don't want to be the guy that said, all right, guys, 5 minutes and get back out there. I mean, you should let that. This is a situation where you just give it 30 minutes. Give it some time to calm down.
He's the paid bad guy. I mean, if Goodell wants the game to be played, I'm sure there's others involved in it, but he knows that he's the lightning rod. Whatever happens is going to be Goodell's fault. If, good things happen, whoever did it, did it. If bad things happen, it was Goodell. So the other thing to consider, and I know again this is not what should be considered when a man's life is on the line, but what they have to think about is not only the business aspect of their own interest, but I mean, how many family of fours from Buffalo went down to Cincinnati and spent thousands of dollars to watch this football game? If you get good news that with the ambulance, them going through the ambulance, and you get good news that they're able to give the players, and like you said, you've canceled the game too early, while everybody back in, I mean, that seems like there's no right answer, and there's nothing that you can build in, because it's human life that's at stake, and we're talking about a game. So I don't think it was handled great, but I definitely don't think it was handled as poorly as folks thought the NFL could have handled it. I mean, I think 100%. It was done a little bit better.
Yeah. But yeah, so let's move on. Fantasy football championships happened this week. A lot of people, we already mentioned we're not going to talk about, rescheduling, but I think, there are some people who didn't have stuff going on in that game. I, for one, I had one of my worst years overall in fantasy football that I've ever had. And I squeaked out a championship this year. So I at least have one. I am a champion this year.
All it takes is one, buddy. I mean,
yeah.
it's really, it's why we play all the if you think you're not going to win or whatever, hey, I got one good team. All it takes is one shot. So congrats. We are sitting currently tied at 2, not 2 apiece, but 1 apiece for this season. So I got another ring to add to the collection. So, is it a dynasty? If you're 3 of 5 years, I think so. I think you're a pretty dynastic team at that point. So
yeah. I don't know if we decided to get it. I don't know if we ever talked about a trophy or anything for the 7 gridirons, but I had an absolute horrible end of the year. I think I lost my last 4 games of the season. Davey, who was number 1 in the season, had 6 wins in a row to finish the regular season. And so I thought for sure he was going to just crush me. But Tom Brady, I texted you this. Tom Brady performing in the playoffs, even when he doesn't know he's in the playoffs.
Always.
I mean, I thought Daniel Jones had a great game. Then Tom Brady went out there. And
well, I played Mike Evans. I played Mike Evans in 2 leagues. So
nice.
Had to contend with that a little bit. So the fact that
you played him or you played against him?
Played against him in 2 leagues.
Oh, okay.
One league I lost handily. That was no one. The other league is still up in the air at this point. So, I hear it. Yeah, congrats. Congrats, buddy. So that's all it takes is one.
Hey, hold on just a second, Megan. All right, Cristiano Ronaldo with his new team with Al Nassr. He is still serving a 2-game suspension for breaking an Everton fan's phone. It took Ronaldo until the very last moment to realize where he was playing because he thought he was playing in South Africa until he was in the middle of a press conference in Saudi Arabia with a "Welcome to Saudi Arabia" sign behind him, and he referred to it as South Africa, and someone had to correct him. You have to think this guy is just, he doesn't care where he's playing. The only thing he's looking at is the amount of zeros on that contract.
That's true, but you say that, but South Africa and Saudi Arabia are different places, right? I would have to imagine that the rules and the law, he probably was wondering, he's like, man, why is this South African guy wearing the traditional head garb as if he is from Saudi Arabia? No, he didn't think of that at all. This should have, if our boy James Nolan wasn't back in the news, this would have been the joke, right?
Yeah,
but they've sold,
or our boy Gary Hahn, who I say, the guy who talked about the illegal aliens. There was a lot of joke of the week's possibilities this week.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. That was perfect as well. Yeah, but 28,000 folks. They had a sellout. Like, they've hyped this up, and I guess I guess D&D are writing his life. He just kind of forgot about his suspension. He just had no idea. Like, fair. He probably has no clue. He hasn't played in a little bit. He had souring relationship with Manchester United. Whatever. But there's a guy that knows, right? Like, there's obviously somebody knows, but like, there's a guy out there that on his side is like, hey, remember, you're not going to get to play for 2 games, I don't know. It seems like the logistics was not great. I'm looking, I think this is just I'm seeing the video of him being unveiled. That's not a game, right? That's just the unveiling of him.
Yeah.
To come and play. Okay. I was like, that would be even better if like they celebrated him and hyped him up and then he had to like go sit on the bench in like a suit or something, but you can't even be in there probably. You probably can't even be in the stadium.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Was it Lamar Jackson in college? There was a college football player. It was an SEC school where a player was suspended.
It was not Lamar Jackson.
I'm trying to think who it was. And he, it might not have been an SEC school, but he came out fully dressed, ready to start the game. And the coach was like, no, you're suspended. You can't just sneak on. You're the starting quarterback. You can't just sneak past me and think you're just going to start the game and play.
Now,
I wish I could remember who it was.
I don't remember that, but I remember the season that Auburn was playing Georgia and Todd Gurley played, and he was suspended for a game or something against Auburn. And the meme of him went around where he had a mustache. It's just a very poorly photoshopped mustache. And it was like, oh, hi, it's just me, your friend, Rod Furley, just here to play some football. And so it reminds me a bit of that, oh my God, who's this Rod Furley kid? He's fantastic,
I'm trying to remember who it was because it was so funny. And I'm typing in a bunch of things, but nothing's coming up.
Maybe type something in relation to that. Don't just type a bunch of things, Bobby.
I just typed in red, blue, green. No, I typed in NCAA player reminded of suspension, sneaks past coach.
Dude, you're probably talking about Friday Night Lights or something, man. This sounds like a movie.
No, it was.
You're talking about Little Giants.
Oh, hold on. Is it maybe Cam Newton? Could it have been Cam Newton, maybe? Because I know he got suspended once in.
No, there was always the thought that he could get suspended, but he just played through it and he never got suspended.
Okay, well, or maybe I don't know where Deshaun Watson played. I can't remember who it was.
Clemson.
Now. But Clemson, okay. Well, yeah, it might have been Dabo. Who I don't know. Either way, I'll do some research off camera and figure it out.
I'm interested to hear the story.
The college football national title, Georgia versus TCU on the 9th. This is coming up Monday, 6:30. Obviously, Georgia. I don't even have to look at the odds. I'm assuming they're the heavy favorite after the come from behind win against Ohio State. First off, I want to say that those semifinals might have been some of the best college football we got all year. Just absolutely what you want in a in the semifinals. Makes me so excited for them to expand. TCU the underdog coming in and just. And they didn't just manhandle Michigan because they started, but Michigan came back. They showed that they've got some dogs in them, and I can't wait for them to expand the playoffs.
Not gonna get to play the dogs, so that's the only dog that they'll have in them.
Yeah,
because the Horned Frogs are going in as a. You want to guess?
I'm gonna say they are minus, or you said the Frogs are going in. I would say they're plus 500.
Plus 315, 12.5,
okay.
Plus 12.5 is the number. Georgia's minus 480. So, you're getting a little bit of juice on that TCU side of it. It's hard. TCU's a good football team. Georgia's an animal, though.
Yeah.
It's Stetson Bennett didn't have a great football game. I don't foresee. I don't know though, man. We'll have to talk about it next week. I guess we will not have had time next week because it's on Monday, right? So it will have already happened. Yeah. So let's make our predictions right now. We can give a winner if you think it's obvious, or if you want to take a spread here.
What's the current spread on it?
12.5. Georgia's got to win by 13, or TCU's got to lose by 12 or less.
I like that. I thought that they were going to be bigger favorites. I thought they were going to be like minus 18, minus 21, but I think I like that. I could see. I don't think they win by 2 touchdowns, but I think they win by a touchdown and a field goal. I think TCU makes it closer than what I think it's going to be.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna take, at least here on air, as far as where my real money is going to go, I have no idea. But on air, I'm going to take TCU plus 12.5. I do not think that they're going to win, but I do think that, like you said, I think it's going to be a close ball game. So I'm going to take the TCU spread on air.
Yeah. Okay. The what was it? Was it the Peach Bowl, the Orange Bowl? I don't know. One of the bowls.
Sorry, what we did not say though was, who do you want to win? Who are you rooting for?
I don't like either of these teams. I was hoping for TCU, Ohio State, and then I could root for Ohio State.
Nah, your boy's purpling himself out, dude. I don't. I cannot.
Okay,
dude, all right.
let me.
Name
If
one
Georgia
TCU
wa-
fan you know. Exactly.
No
Exactly. And name how many times a TCU fan has croaked at you, has ribbited at you. Not a once have you ever heard them go, ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Dude, we're going to hear barking for hours, okay? I don't want to, for the whole year.
Dude, I have a great Pyrenees.
Barks.
I block the barks out. But
They are dogs, though. They are not human beings that go into restaurants and bark. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So TCU, your boy. Probably got to up my purple game because I don't know that I got a lot of purple. I mean, it's just not a wardrobe choice that I usually make. So I gotta get me some.
I'm not finding the video. I think it was Johnny Manziel when he had a first half suspension for something, and
That
he tried to
makes
get on there
sense.
I think he tried to just get onto the field. And I think he just thought he could.
So
walk
Texas
out and start
A&M
playing.
was SEC for sure. You were right in that regard. And yeah, I mean, it went from this was a movie to Johnny Manziel. Okay, Johnny Football did it. Yeah, dude, that was probably okay. Sure,
Yeah.
Well, good research,
and
there,
I remember,
buddy. Good job.
Yeah, I haven't found the video, but like as I'm looking at it, it's matching up because I remember the coach having a face. I'm like, oh wait, I think it was what's his name. Now that I'm having a brain fart forgetting that.
Kevin Sumlin.
Was it?
Kevin
Sumlin
Sumlin would have coached. I'm pretty sure it was Sumlin.
I thought it was. When did Jimbo go there? I could have sworn it was Jimbo Fisher yelling at somebody.
Maybe. I mean, Jimbo. I think went after Johnny Football though.
Okay. Well.
All right, I'm looking up Johnny Football's college years. You look up Texas A&M coaches. How about that?
We're just Texas A&M athletics. Jimbo Fisher. Blah blah blah. Give me his stats. I don't care about his childhood. 2018.
2018, he became the coach. Yeah, I'm seeing 2012, 2013 season. No, he played for the Browns in 2014. So no, it was who was the coach in 2012? Would have been Sumlin, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, you know what? Maybe it's the colors. I think it might have been Jameis Winston.
That's also super possible. So you were right on the money because it would have been Jimbo Fisher coaching there at the time. So.
Yes, you found it right off the bat. Washington Post, Jameis Winston hits the field in full uniform, is told to go back and take his pads off. I just knew the maroon color, and it's not SEC, but it was ACC. But
not SEC.
Yeah, but it is Jimbo Fisher, so it was all in the same ballpark.
You were right on the tip of your tongue, right there the whole time. So I'll give it to you. I'm going to give it to you as obscure. Yeah,
that was after he yelled "fucker" right in the pussy on the sidelines to fans. He got suspended for the first half of the next game, and he tried to sneak onto the field. He had his head down, and what he did was in warm-ups, he had a different jersey on, and then right as the game was about to start, he put his jersey on, and Jimbo stopped and was like, "What are you doing?" And he didn't realize that the team would get in trouble, and they would have to forfeit the game if he was on the field playing, if he played it down in the first half. He thought that it wasn't a big deal. He thought that it might just be I figured it'd just be like a 15-yard penalty, maybe.
This was pre-crab leg thievery at, I believe it was Publix. That crab leg thieving happened. So, Jameis always gave us good. It's crazy to know that he's still, chugging along and isn't really crazy. Isn't really doing crazy things. So he's throwing a lot of picks, but that's not really his fault.
Yeah. But anyway, back on track. Tennessee is the orangiest team in the country after the teams.
After they won the Orange Bowl. Against Clemson.
Won the Orange Bowl. Now, hold on. They still have some competition. They didn't beat Syracuse. Technically, we don't know. They have to play Syracuse.
No, they absolutely did beat Syracuse because I believe Syracuse was ranked lower than them. They were not in the running for the Orange's team. You got to be one of the top Orange teams. You got to be one of the top Orange teams to get there, boy. They lost their bowl game. All right, no, you can't be one of the top Orange teams if you lose. If you lose to the Michigan Gophers. Okay. And they lost their bowl game to the Michigan Gophers, dude. And look, now we both know that technically, if they wanted to, South Carolina could claim the color orange and make the other two teams switch, because they are technically the champion of the orangiest of the teams. Neither of those two orange teams can tell them, what's up. I mean, that team basically single-handedly owns the color orange by dashing any orange team's national championships chances. So,
I think we all owe South Carolina a favor for not having to see so much orange in the playoffs.
We got a TCU Georgia national championship right now, so I disagree. So,
as annoying as Bulldogs fans are, I think having Tennessee in the national championship would be so much more annoying. I can deal with Barkin. I'm not dealing with Rocky Top playing everywhere.
Yeah, but they're going to play Rocky Top anyway, buddy. That's that's
they're always at a 10.
Do you want it to happen with beer flowing and happiness afoot, or do you want it to be just sheer depression and also it's still playing? They're like, this is the My Chemical Romance version of the Rocky Top song. I could just see the weird intro, the weird emo kid intro to Rocky Top happening. So either way, I mean, Georgia's already won one, so they're already going to be annoying. They're going to be even more annoying. But I did want to say, I think that this was a big win for Tennessee's program long term. I mean, Dabo Swinney saying I went in and beat Tennessee in the Orange Bowl doesn't really turn a lot of heads in recruiting. I mean, he's still Dabo. Yeah. They play for national titles. Whereas Tennessee, I think that's a much different thing to walk into a kid's living room, Yeah, well, we beat Dabo Swinney with our backup quarterback in the Orange Bowl. So a lot of great bowl games too. I mean, people talk about there being too many bowl games, but their games have been competitive and good, and that's what people want. More college football. More competitiveness. So great bowl season. We got one more to go.
Yep. And we do have some breaking news. And when I say breaking, this came out on Monday and I'm just now seeing it, but it's breaking for us. The Seattle Kraken and the Vegas Golden Knights will be in the 2024 Winter Classic at T-Mobile Park, which I assume, I don't know where, I assume that's in Seattle. I would assume that might be where the Mariners play.
Maybe the Mariners
still in the MLB. I honestly have no idea if the Mariners are still a team.
They are.
Okay.
So I would imagine it's that because it's not. That's not the.
Not going to be in
field.
Vegas.
No, it's not the football field though, right?
Yeah, no, I don't. I would assume. Well, if they call it a park, I don't think they usually don't call football stadiums parks. I can just quick Google though. Really getting Seattle Mariners. Yep, T-Mobile Park. It's the baseball stadium.
Okay.
So yeah, that'll be.
I was trying to honestly, it's something I never really thought about. But I guess you're right. I was trying to think of an example of somewhere.
Nope. Orchard Park in Buffalo.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Thanks. Yep. You could have just left it as you being the right one. I was willing to concede, Bobby, but even when I'm not, I was right,
technically I was right. Because I said most NFL places are not called park, and then I knew the name of the one that is. So I'm right on both accounts. Boom. Yeah. Anyway, let's move into our main topic of the day. We're talking our Pucks Out Awards. We're coming up. We're finalizing the name. Hopefully, we're going to give you what our categories are. These could change. We could add some. But these will be awarded. I think we count. We agreed we're going to do it after the Stanley Cup Finals because we're going to count playoffs in these awards. You better not just do well in this regular season. Better do well in the playoffs. Now we got to go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I made a lot of dope names for the awards. I did not give one for the best goal. We should maybe name that, but that's the number one thing is the best goal. So we need a name for that. So I don't know if you have any ideas. But then after the best goal, I think all of them have names, so we can kind of switch up here and give them the rest of the guys with the little explanation to it.
Yeah. So some of the name of the awards are Golden Pucker, the Puckies, the Puck List, the Holy Puck. I kind of like the Holy Puck a little bit. that's kind of like you win the holy puck.
Yeah.
The golden pucker is
Yeah.
nice because it's like a double entendre there. So we'll kind of so here are the options, and I think we'll maybe put these on Twitter, or we're not going to. I think we'll continue thinking about a name over the next couple weeks. But here are here's the categories. The yet to be named best goal, which will be in the NHL. The fight much, which is the most fighting minutes, straight up. We don't have to vote on it. Which I guess there's two of us, so we can't really vote on it either, because there's no tiebreak.
We will. Yeah, the most fighting minutes. If it's a tie, then we go and look. We go back. First of all, we got to find out if the two tied people fought, and then who won the fight, and then we will make a decision based on that. If they did not fight, maybe
coin flip. Or we call them up, see if they're willing to fight.
We call them up, see if they're willing to fight. That's option number one. I think option number two would be to simulate a fight in NHL. We got to get them in there and we'll just have them fight. So hopefully they don't, because it's a whole lot of work just to figure out who wins. We'll probably just pick one, be honest with you.
Yeah.
So the next one is coming in second. And this is for the most secondary assist. Coming in second, get you an assist just like coming in first does. So, you can be, you're welcome to be the caboose, buddy. So,
then we've got World Star, which this goes to two people. This is the best fight of the season. I think that one's going to be a fan favorite. I'm excited for that.
And it's really questionable because you said it goes to two people, and I never really thought about that. It sounds like you're taking it as the most competitive fight.
Or most entertaining.
That's what I'm saying. So it could either go to two people because it's a super entertaining, like fairly, fair, even fight, or it could be one guy just absolutely pummeling a guy, and the other guy will get the award, but it will be everybody will know. Everybody will know.
Yeah, I mean,
it's because
what we'll have is every season we might change it, but like we'll have one award maybe with a black eye and one. So
right.
Why don't you do the next one?
Yeah. An ad, really. So we're going to do one for the best promotional night from all the NHL teams, but also one of the worst promotional nights. So again, it'll be a kind of a separate style of award where one is awarded
I
greatness.
think we already have a top runner right now. I was going to the Pred schedule because we're looking at canceling our season tickets just because we're not seeing the benefit in them anymore. And I was going through what games I might want to go to. I was looking at the promotional nights. They've got firefighter night, they've got teacher appreciation night, they've got the standard, they've got pride night and all these things. On one of them was just yoga night, and I'm just like, what?
That is high. They're just kind of.
Yeah, I was like, that's what? Why? What? Who are they? Like, what? These people who do yoga, gotta appreciate them.
Was there what was there a study? Was there a study or something that says, look, we are not getting yogis in here. Okay. We got to get them. It's a key demographic in Nashville. Of all
it's unfortunate we didn't have this earlier because a shoo-in for this would have been the CEO night. That was
CEO night.
They didn't do that again. That got booed by everyone.
All right, here we go. We'll name this actually CEO night. Presents, because that needs to be in there. Presents an ad, really, and so that will be the award. It'll be the whole thing.
Yeah,
so.
I remember being there when they panned over to the suite with like 20 people in there, all in suits, and they're like, "The Preds would like to welcome CEOs from all around the Nashville area. Give it up for your CEOs." No booze, just everywhere booze.
Yeah. It was like Dave Chappelle bringing Elon Musk on stage. Like, dude, what? You brought a dude up here. You brought a dude up here that lost $200 billion this year. Okay, and is still the richest man on earth. Like, fathom that. $200 bill just gone, bro. Just no biggie. It's all good though. I can still rage tweet on Twitter. Anyway, so I think you're up next. I think this is a pretty good one.
Why am I
difficult?
the why am I here? The most unneeded backup goalie. This is going to be us. We're going to have to look at some stats on this one. But those guys go. Those guys need to be there to so that the players can get shots on goal in practice and not pepper their starting goal.
Well, and at first we kind of made this the worst backup, but that's not what we're going for here. I want to I want to make sure that folks are clear. It's the guy that plays behind Vasilevsky that plays 20 games in the season or something. That's more of what we're talking about. Now they can be bad, but it's more of
kind of Halibut's backup.
It's more of why are you even here? Why did you even show up? Type of deal. So the next award is called It's Glorious, and it is the Playoff Beard award, Best Playoff Beard Award. That's why we got to wait till all the way through the Stanley Cup, all the way through the playoffs.
Question. Do we want to put an asterisk? Do we say you have a player like maybe Philip Forsberg, who doesn't have a full playoff beard, but has a sweet playoff mustache? Are we doing best playoff facial hair, or are we just doing the beard?
No, it's playoff beard, right? I mean, okay. I feel like he looks sick doing it, right? I mean, but that's not the point of the playoff beard, right? The point of the playoff beard is Forsberg's facial hair didn't grow like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that style. Yeah. I want the gangly, unkept man that hasn't shaved, and has a beard, has a playoff beard. Yeah. So as much as I'd love to award his dope little mustache flick, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's got to be playoff.
Which,
beard.
By the way, extra props to him because he's able. Yeah, because he's able to do a hat trick playing a full game, and that thing just stays.
It just stays, perfect. Dude. He's got that wax, but I think it's super bold of you to assume that the Preds will be playing for us to see. That is fandom right there. That is fandom right there.
All right, the hit 'em up, the best clean hit of the season. Emphasis on clean. Get that dirty shit out of here. It's what makes the game great. Clean hits are what it's what puts butts in the seats. It's what makes this game so amazing. And I think this is like, to me, this might be like the best actor at the Oscars. Like this right here is the creme de la creme, I think.
Oh, okay. I was thinking that was best goal, but so this is like, it's like best actors, best goal, and like best actress is so they're on equal footing.
Equal grounds, not the same. Yeah.
But yeah, they hit them up. Now, the real question is obviously we'll have a discussion, but if it's perceived as dirty but does not get any fines, or that's what we're talking about, right? There's no.
I think that is a call that we will make. That if it didn't get called, or if it didn't get a penalty, but it is
not a penalty. I'm not worried about penalty. No, I'm talking about they weren't fined for it later, even
if there was no fine, if there was no penalty, but the general consensus, and even between you and I, is that it was a dirty hit and he should have been.
That's the only consensus I care about. That's the only consensus I care about. I don't care about the masses. You and I, the masses don't know shit.
If you and I look at a hit and say that was dirty and that should have been called, then we will make the executive decision. Right. Well, you're out of here.
Well, I mean, I'm not us picking them. Obviously, we have a very entitled, a very high-brow group of judges, and it's not us at all. But whoever does pick them probably has a similar thought process as you and I. Yeah, it does.
We should select, there's the Associated Press. We should select a handful of people, maybe the Pucks Press, that we give them, we allow them to have voting rights, and they can vote. We give them 5 options, and they give points 1 through 5. And we have our votes weigh a little bit more.
Right. Yeah. Obviously ours way more. We will only go to them in times of need. It's more of like we got like 98% voting rights, and like those shares that we hand out is like 2%. And that's just to get us like in the, we just need some votes to push one of us. Perfect. I love it. And then we have, and this one's going to be kind of hard to figure out. I'm not really sure what we're going to go with. But we got the best worst of the average. So the lowest ranking top 6 guy. I think that we will. have to be kind of creative with this a little bit because lines are switching so much. It may, it may end up just being like an unofficial, we picked this guy because, how is he still playing top 6 hockey type of stuff. So, but yeah, I think that's a good little batch of awards for our first award show,
Yeah. But all right, let's move into our games of the week.
Games of the week. Bobby and Brandon do the work so you don't have to. The best from around the NHL and what to watch.
All right, coming in, we have an update. I'm sitting at 28-20. Vaughn is sitting at 25-22-1. We both had a 4-1 week. So, just kind of, it's keeping competitive. As far as money goes, Brandon's a little bit in the lead. We're sitting at $42.14, and I'm sitting at $37.72. So yeah, it's a close one. You close that gap, and I think it's going to be competitive till the end.
Yeah. I mean, you just need one good week. I had a really good week at 4-1, but it was matched by your really good week at 4-1. So I think I did a little bit better money wise this week than you. But even your bets that you've been losing, you've still been winning your games. You've lost a few of the puck line bets, but still got that W. So I was looking bleak there for a bit for both of us. There were some downtrodden, some downturns in the market. The economy's in shambles, and so we were having a rough go of it. So I'm glad to see that we kind of got back on track here.
Yeah. So I'll get us started on the 5th at 6 p.m. I've got Washington going into Columbus. I am taking the Capitals, and I'm taking the puck line.
Okay. Wow. Not bad. I'm going with the Islanders and the Oilers on the 5th. That's correct. I was questioning it because we record on Tuesdays and that didn't seem right. But it's Wednesday today, so that is correct. Yeah. The 5th at 8 p.m. I'm going to take the Oilers puck line. So I think that the Oilers are gonna pull this one out and drop a couple goals on the Isles.
Nice. Next, you got the next one.
So I got the Lightning playing the Jets. I had not decided yet, so I'm kind of on the spot here. I'm gonna go with the Jets, and I'm just gonna go Jets straight. I'm not going puck line.
Well, I am going to take the puck line again. I've got the Islanders flying out west to Calgary on the 6th at 8 p.m., and I'm taking Calgary puck line.
Yeah, don't hate it. They've been good to you the past few weeks, so not a bad call. I got what I considered, and I went in there and stole it before you could, because I normally let you get the first 3 games picked, but I stole this one. I wanted the Rangers Devils Saturday the 7th at noon. Just my game of the just the one that stood out to me of all the games that I wanted to see the most. I don't think it's going to be a puck line type of game, so I'm going to go Devils money line on that
one. Yeah. On the 7th at 9 p.m., I've got a West Coast battle between LA going into Vegas. I think Vegas takes this one. I'm just taking Vegas money line.
Love it. I'm going to go double puck line for my last 2. But I'm going to go with the Bruins Ducks on the 8th on Sunday at 7:30 p.m. And again, I'm going to go with I'm going to go with the Bruins puck line here. I don't think that's a crazy call considering.
Yeah. And then on Monday the 9th, this is the same. This will probably be happening right as the national championship started, which it's weird that they even have games on the 9th. I don't know why they just not have games on the 9th. Or have, instead of having 6:30, 9:30, how about have noon, 1:30, 3:30, and
that's a Monday.
5:30.
That's a Monday, so
yeah, it's national championship day. But anyway, Nashville at Ottawa. Nashville dropped the Ottawa game a little bit ago, but I think they come back. I think they I think they have a good road trip. I think this, I'm starting to like what I see a little bit better from them right now. But I think they get this win, and I'm going to take puck line. I think they get that empty net goal at the end to secure that puck line.
Okay. And then my final game is the Kraken playing the Habs, 1-9 at 6:30. Also, same time as the Natty. I'm going to go Kraken puck line. I think the Kraken has been playing really good hockey, so I'm going to stick with them. I think they're going to go in and beat a downtrodden Habs team right now.
Yeah. All right. That wraps up this week's Games of the Week. Let's head over into our joke of the week.
The weird.
Corey Perry.
See, I don't like that. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish.
Each sixth chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb.
Kidding me?
It's time for the joke of the week.
He is back once again. Mr. James L. Dolan.
At least,
obviously standing for loss.
At least it wasn't him personally. Now, did he enact the rule? Probably. But Madison Square Garden uses facial recognition to ban its owner's enemies. MSG Entertainment, the owner of the Arena and Radio City Music Hall, has put lawyers who represent people suing it on an exclusion list to keep them out of concert and sporting events. Essentially, over Thanksgiving weekend, Kelly Conlon, 44, almost called her number 44. Like she's Conlon. She's Conlon, a personal injury lawyer, number 44. That's her jersey number. From Bergen County, New Jersey, was chaperoning her 9-year-old daughter's Girl Scout troop on a trip to Manhattan to see the Christmas Spectacular at Radio City Music Hall.
Wow.
Before she could even take a glimpse of the Rockettes, the security guards pulled Miss Conlon aside, and her New York jaunt took an Orwellian turn. Is the exact phrasing in this article. I'm sad that I read it because it was I thought it was going to be good and it wasn't. They told her that they knew she was Kelly Conlon. They knew she was an attorney. And they knew the name of her law firm. And essentially, that law firm is suing MSG. And so she's not allowed in. She doesn't she's not on the lawsuit that is involved with MSG. She just works at a company that is.
Yeah.
Its chief executive, James Dolan, is a billionaire who has run an empire with an autocratic flair, and his company has instituted the ban this summer, not only on lawyers representing people suing it, but on all attorneys at their firms. The company says litigation creates an inherently adversarial environment, and so it is enforcing the list with the help of computer software that can identify hundreds of lawyers via profile photos on their firm's own website, using an algorithm to instantly pore over images and suggest matches. What a dystopic. Oh, that's funny. It's a dystopian shocking act of repression, said Sam Davis, a partner at that particular law firm, who was turned away from a Rangers game earlier that month. And, it just seems like poor Kelly Conlon, who's having to, chaperone her daughter's field trip, that's not a big deal. But when you start doing it to big time partners, I mean, I guess he probably doesn't care, right? He doesn't. I mean, it's ridiculous. What a joke, man. What an absolute joke. Yeah. She's a chaperone for these kids. So like seemingly, you've left them chaperone short now. For
James
the
Dolan
Rockettes.
probably feasted on their tears.
That's true. That's true. He said, all right, what's the ratio need to be? And he figured out the adult to kid ratio, and then he ate the extra kids. He took them with him. He said, come on with me. You're going to get eaten. And it's me, your boy, James Dolan. So
yeah, just absolutely ridiculous. James Dolan, you are
good to see him back though.
Again.
Good to see him back, though. I mean,
Yeah.
Hate the reason, but yeah.
Let's move into this or that.
Time to cast your vote. Vote your cast. Choose your pick. Pick your choice. Make a decision and take a side for this or that.
All right, we are talking the MCU, and this is talking all the MCU from the first Iron Man to the new Black Panther. If you were forced to keep only one storyline from the MCU and delete all the others, what are you keeping? We're talking Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe the Infinity Stone storyline, the Ultron storyline, Iron Man, just Thor. What are you keeping as far as what the movies?
Yeah, that's so tough. I guess it would have to be the Avengers storyline, right? Which would essentially be Infinity Stone storyline, is what you're saying.
And so the way I'm seeing it is that if you keep the Avengers movies, that means you're coming and you're watching the Avengers movies
with no knowledge of any of these people.
No, you've never saw any Iron Man, you never saw the Hulks, no.
Unfortunately,
which is again, they're still good action movies.
I know you're trying to be fair and just try to push other things. If we want to eliminate the Avengers storyline and basically say pick one of the movie, because come on, the Avengers storylines have Endgame and Infinity Stones.
Well, for sure, I was actually going to not pick the Avengers, because I think that is an easy pick. Again, it would be horrible not to have them, but I think for me, I was going to pick Guardians of the Galaxy because it is up until
self-contained.
It was self-contained. You didn't have to know anything. There was no. Everything. You would have been maybe a little confused at Ronan, the Accuser, and the fact that but again, we don't comic book fans know that's an Infinity Stone, but at that time we didn't really have. At that point, we didn't really have a connection with Thanos.
I hated Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yes, it was bad. But you get the holiday special, you get the shows, the Guardians of the Galaxy shows, you get the Groot show, you get the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 looks dope as hell with Adam Warlock coming in. I think that they would be, and I don't know if 2 would be so bad if we didn't have the rest of the MCU to compare it to. I don't think it was worse than Thor: The Dark World.
Well, I don't either. I think honestly, okay, let me hit you with this, and you'll have to tell me. I think that if we're excluding Avengers storyline, I think honestly, again, it's going to confuse you a bit probably without the others, but only a bit. The Spider-Man trilogy. With Homecoming, No Way Home, and what am I? I'm missing one. Homecoming.
No Way Home, Spider-Man. What was the first one called?
Yeah, it's the first one was Homecoming. Right? I cannot think. Yeah, man, the best trilogy. Yeah, I would keep this one. I can't even remember the names of them.
Tom Holland, Spider-Man in order. Far From Home, Homecoming.
Far From Home. That's it.
Yeah. They're
really good, and I think that again, it goes back to that can stand alone. Can stand alone pretty well. So I think
does Into the Spider-Verse get into there as well or not? I would say it does personally.
That would just only add to it, right? Essentially you're saying you're keeping one storyline. I think it's the Spider-Man storyline. Spider-Man's not my favorite character or anything, but especially with the multiverse now as a possibility, I think we all love the Spider-Man. The original 3 Spider-Mans, the Raimi Spider-Mans with Tobey Maguire, James Garfield Spider-Mans were fine. Tom Holland Spider-Mans were great. It's just one of those that can be self-contained because he is the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And so it's not crazy to say he's not going. It's not, why is he not helping out with this? It's like, no, because he's in Brooklyn. He's in school. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those that makes sense.
I also think simply from a numbers point of view and quantity is Thor, the Thor series. Wouldn't be that bad either. You're getting 5 movies?
Yeah, one's bad.
Ragnarok in there.
One is bad. A lot of people don't like Love and Thunder. I liked it.
Which is
I
dumb.
liked it a
I
whole lot.
loved Love and
I
Thunder.
loved it too. Thor wouldn't be bad. I'll tell you one that I wouldn't. And all right, so mine that I would delete. Okay, so I was going to ask you the opposite. What are we deleting? You know, what are we taking out? And I was thinking even more mainline storyline. One just like plot point and storyline I would take out would be, it would honestly be Tony Stark's parents getting killed, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like that causes so much strife and issues in there. Without that, you know, it doesn't cause, you know, there's not as much issues and problems.
I think Civil War. I'd get rid of the Civil War storyline.
It does. I mean, my point is that doing it my way means Civil War is never even an option. It's not even a possibility. I love Civil War. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great addition. But if we're just talking, hey, you know, one, we still get the superhero, but we just don't have his movies anymore. As weird as this will be, I'm sure that, you know, I get lots of hate on it. There's great parts to both, but Captain America for me, I think that I would be fine without his people. Absolutely,
his solo movies were I was bored by his solo movies.
People absolutely went ape shit over Winter Soldier, and I thought that the fight scene in the elevator was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Don't hear what I'm not saying, but I just didn't really enjoy the movie. I didn't care for it as much. So, I mean,
100%.
That's probably what I would drop from the original.
Yeah, I was not a big fan of the standalone Captain America movies. So I think we kind of agree with that. Let's move into what are you binging? It's the start of a new year. I have started watching again Would I Lie to You? I missed a couple seasons because it's over in Britain, but it got added to my Brit box, and I'm back to watching it now. I think that show is amazing. The comedians on it are really funny. I love me some British game shows. They are, in my opinion, so much better than American game shows. They're not as, I mean, they don't have to, they're not, because I feel like all American game shows, you know, like panel shows are just kind of very boring, and they don't have like real comedians on. They bring actors on to promo their new project, where these are just comedians having fun and shooting the shit with other comedians.
I am binging Trailer Park Boys. You know, I hadn't seen it in a while. Just so stupid, man. It's just such a dumb show that it's just so funny, man.
God damn it, Ricky.
Hey man, it's just water. It's just water under the fridge. I mean, one of mine that I use all the time is like, when he's stealing cable or stealing satellite or whatever, and the satellite guy's there, and he's like, "You're stealing," you know. He's like, "Oh, what do you own? Space?" He's like, "No, you think you own space? No, NASA owns space. All right," and just dumb. But I've also been watching a little bit. I don't want to call it binging. I've been watching a little bit here and there of the new Jack Ryan season. It's not as good as the other two, or at least not as good as quickly as the other two. So that is that's a couple things I'm binging. I'm watching Game of Thrones with Stephanie. We're almost finished finally. It's great. You know, it's such a great rewatch, right?
Yeah.
Up until it's not. And then season 7
I finally got my sister-in-law and her husband finally just finished season 8 when we were there at Christmas, like right before Christmas. So I finally got to talk with them about it, and you know, and have a bunch of
but still, it's still not the same as those that are in the lore and stuff, because I stopped it when the Golden Company got there. I stopped it to tell Stephanie, okay, so look, this is the Golden Company. They were started by a guy named Bittersteel or Aegor Rivers, which was one of the Great Bastards, which was a part of the Blackfire Rebellion. You know, it's just like a whole, like, she doesn't understand. You know, it's just
she was like, I really don't care.
It's just the Golden. No, she does a good job of pretending, Bobby. So don't put that on. Don't put that on her. Okay, she pretends really well to care about things that I say. All right, and that's why we're married, because nobody else does. Nobody else pretends to care like she does. So. But yeah, man, so watching that, but in the season 8, you know, season 7 and season 8, and the problem is for her and for other people, and I can see why people don't really care, why it's bad. it was fine, right? I mean, they're not seeing what we're seeing in the depths of Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
right?
Well, in some of those episodes, none of us were seeing anything with how dark it was.
That's true. I mean, we are well into that spot right now, Bob, where we're probably going to have to watch it on my on our bedroom TV because it has like a sports mode that like brightens and everything.
Yeah.
So that way it will only be this black and not like that like super, deep black that that like people argue over being, was it Vanta black or whatever? That's like feels like you're being sucked into the hole or whatever. Anyway,
but yeah, all right. Let's move into what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
All right. So if you're watching this video, it's pretty clear what team I'm a fan of. Got the hat. I got my new Washington Commander sign behind me over there. I got the Sean Taylor towel over behind me in my new setup. One of the things that the Washington Commanders, and when they were known as the Redskins, were known for was having a band, not having a mascot. And Dan Snyder decides, as he's on his way out, he's going to introduce what might be the worst mascot in all of sports. It truly, truly is horrible. It is a hog that is, an homage to the 80s and 90s Hogs, the offensive line that drove three Super Bowl teams with three different quarterbacks. That offensive line was one of the greatest offensive lines in NFL history. They were called the Hogs because at the time they were like 350 pounds, 320 pounds, 290 pounds. Nowadays, the offensive linemen are not that big. These were massive dudes, and they were so fast and athletic for the time. So they introduced this mascot to a crowd of boos during their last home game where they lost in a absolute heartbreaker against Cleveland. The fans are unhappy about it. The Hogettes, which, we kind of had for going back since before I was born, we had an unofficial mascot in the Hogettes, which is a group of dads wearing pig noses dressed as ladies. And that was the Hogettes. That was our unofficial mascot. Now they introduced this abomination, and none of us are happy. We are all very this is Dan Snyder being Dan Snyder. He's on his way out, and he wants to give a big fuck you to the fans who have hated him for the last 30-something years.
Yeah, I mean, I can see being upset over the, loss of tradition and stuff, but the mascot's dope. I will say that. I mean, mascot
I just like the face
design. Bro, it's dope. I think it's dope. I like it. But I'm not a Hogs fan. So I don't really care, it doesn't matter to me to complain enough about it. But I think it looks good.
Honestly, I feel like it kind of infringes on the Carolina Hurricanes mascot.
I'm gonna need to go look up the Hurricanes mascot.
I think so much that the Carolina Hurricanes mascot Twitter account even called them out. Was like, "Hey, man, what are you doing?"
Oh, nah, not at all. That guy looks like a little shrew, dude. He looks like a shrew. Is that what it is? Is it a shrew?
It's a pig.
That ain't no pig, dude. No, that ain't a pig. I'm looking at it right now. That's a shrew. That's a shrew for sure.
Stormy?
Stormy
I think
the
Stormy,
shrew.
Anthropomorphic pig.
Yeah. So
he's a pig.
Yeah. So but it ain't though. If you look at
technically, it's an ice hog.
Okay. Well, it ain't a pig though,
because of the abundance of hog farms, and it's due to the abundance of hog farms in eastern North Carolina.
Okay, I believe you. Mine is, and again, I'm not super on social media, so I haven't really seen a lot, but I can just imagine they're out there stewing New Year's resolution posts. Just nobody cares. Just do your resolution. I'm not opposed to you setting a goal and trying to achieve it, but don't tell us about it. nobody cares that your resolved is to play an hour less of Xbox a day or, drink less beer or whatever. Good for you. I'm not saying don't do those things, but just do them for you. The New Year's resolution shouldn't be for you to tell all of us what you're going to do in the new year. It should be for you. You don't want to drink as much beer, then don't do it. But don't do it for my benefit or Bob's benefit. Do it for you don't get you do the New Year's resolution to get praise for something you haven't done yet. What do you want me to say? Like, I'll catch you. I'm going to come and comment on this post next year and either tell you good job or you suck. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, as someone who is on social media a good bit, I actually have not seen any of those. That's I have good. Seen all over Twitter that there is a trend. It's called the slut year of the slut or something like that. All these women and some men are saying their New Year's resolution is, this is going to be their slut year. Because of COVID, they're like, you know what, this is the year everyone wants to have their slut phase in 2023.
Man. All right. Well, shit, I got married in 2022, so F that up, didn't
I? But all right, guys. Hey, thanks for hanging out. Be sure to catch us on all social medias to find out when we'll be hosting next Bingo Night at Mayday. Come see us on Twitch. Come hang out with us and drink some beer. And until next time, for Brandon, I'm Bobby. This has been the Pucks Out Podcast.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.